Well, I just got to tell you what, I could listen to that Jackson Brown. By the way, if you check the link out, that is an excellent recording, um, 1976 when I turned 21. But by the way, the Eagles do a great song, 21. But anyway, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, and I am having fun in Wayne's World. I want to let you know, and you're invited to have fun right along with me. So get on the bus. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You it don't cost anything. Yeah. Hit the like button. If you're a subscriber, subscribe. If you think you are, make sure you are. If you're not, be nice if you were. So, yeah, seriously. And I saw Lighthouse, your comment on Jackson Brown. Saw him down in Houston, Texas. And so, yeah, wow. You know, when I leave this plane, it's going to be with a smile. You just look back and I mean, I can't think of all the thousands of years and the thousands of generations of, humans, whether we're recycled or we're not. You come in and I don't know, maybe there were pretty excellent times. I'm assuming they were. But us, you know, speaking of, the coming in from the 50s, then into the 60s, and then the 70s, where when we invented, well, where we applied electric to sound and something was born. Whether it had been here before or whether it just came in, rock and roll was something new. And as hard as it was back there, many of us, we've faced those things. Many of the ladies, many of you guys, but and many of you that are near the same age I am, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And all I can say, folks, that is favor. And it's like wearing the skin. Favor abiding with us. So. Welcome, everybody. It's Wednesday, hump day, yeah, as Nina would say. Check out her show. And I just speak favor over all you favored beings. And we call those things that be not as though they are. That is what manifestation is about, really. Uh, Nothing missing, nothing broken. So, how's everybody doing in the chat room? Y'all doing good? Lady Ellie, how are you? Deborah Sloan, trust all is well with you, dear. Lori, how are you? Jack, good to see you. Ruben, hello. Good to see you. Operation Crossroads, what's up? Jackie J, nothing missing, nothing broken, darling. And Nina, the truth, Mystic Truther. Check out her show that she has there on her Hump Day shows. Colleen, my friend and researcher. Uh, Colleen, I tell you, you know it that it's just so cool. You know, it's if we are a ship upon a sea, we got a freaking armada. I'm just telling you, it's that good. Rick, how are you doing, brother? Continue to speak health and prosperity over you. DC, good to see you. Open-minded, what's up? DC, Chill 99, how are you? Honored to have you here, my friend. Annie, good to see you, sweetie. Gaia, how are you and Paul doing? Good to see you. And Dave Sullivan. Who else? Steven, good to see you as I go back. And Chargo and Jet. Fireflies in the lighthouse. Yeah. So how long you been living in Houston, Firefly? Um, be curious. All right. Yeah, that's a great, 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 great. That's it, and it's pretty realistic to the concert I saw him do. So I want to start out because we're going to get right into this. First of all, I don't know what your perspective is, but I can only give you mine through experience. Um, Praying for money and wealth. is there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, all gods, goddesses, have the ability to bring wealth. Really, it's kind of like the whole thing of why people worship these deities. Uh, Abraham, is prime example. This, whether you want to call it a usurper, whether you want to call it a demigod, whoever it is, part of his deal, this what people call God, was that he made a deal. I mean, I think Trump may have gotten his book from this God, but it was money. He told Abraham, "I'll make you rich. I'll make you so freaking rich that, Richie Rich will be looking, up at you." And talk to Solomon. Solomon was said to have been the most wealthiest human being ever born. It is, and I was taught this in Bible school, that um, the gold in the world, about 20% of that gold was at one time supposedly in Solomon's temples in the Holy of the Holies. They said they had so much gold in the reign of Solomon, what God was making him rich, and that was part of the deal with Solomon as well, that they said they paved the streets with silver. Okay, silver is now cost $30 an ounce, so figure that one out, right? But nevertheless, and I was taught, indoctrinated, hypnotized, brainwashed, however you want to look at it. I knew how to invoke this God, the God of the Bible, which there's many, but and you have to understand, the book of Deuteronomy. You have to understand the blessing. You have to understand the curse. But the secret, and I'll give you the secret, was tithing. I was a tither. Lynn and I were tithers, faithful tithers. Um, and that was how you activated that part of that contract. Most people don't. They consistently give, which is a cool thing. Giving is part of the tool chest where prosperity, increasing in wealth, and there are those who can really plug into it and understand it. I mean, if you understand that what we're dealing with, uh, even God or goddess or however you perceive the all to be, it's mental. Um, Thought I'd bring this out because review is good, because we're going to go into an area where we're going to be talking about these goddesses and these gods, demons, angels, kings, princes. Um, yeah, they're real. And listen, when you bring out their name and you speak their name, and particularly if it's speaking where you're open-minded and you're speaking the name and repeat the name, that draws their energy, draws their attention. Yeah, how about that? So I wanted to share this. So this is, again, as we wait. Da-da-da-da-da. This is the principles of truth are seven. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open, the Kabbalion. So keep in mind as we go forward from here, because we're going to have a lecture today, a class, however you want to have a discussion, a rap session, pass them around if you got them, and enjoy whatever libation you may or may not have. So this is, again, important to remember. One day I'm going to start giving written tests. All right. The principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental, the Kabbalion. This principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality underlining all the outward manifestations and appearances which we know under the term of the mental universe, the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short, all that is apparent to our mental senses is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as an universal, infinite, living mind. It also explains that all the phenomenal world of the universe is mental, is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to the laws of created things, and that the universe as a whole and in its part or units has its existence in the mind of the all, in which mind you and we live and move and have our being. Now, I knew that from the Old Testament, from Paul's writings. Yeah, wonder how that came out. And why did Paul have a copy of the Liber of Lilith, if Paul actually lived? You know, Paul never did see Jesus. He never did. He had a vision. Interesting. And why Paul was a Roman citizen? Oh, why was Paul as rich as Tesla and all of them combined? Paul, his family supplied tents and other things to the Roman legions. Hmm. Probably someone's thinking, saying, "Well, what does that have to do with this?" Well, it has a lot to do with it. It also explains that all the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to the laws of created things, and that the universe as a whole and in its parts, I read that just rereading it, existence is in the mind of the all, in which we live and move and have our being. This principle, by establishing the mental nature of the universe, easily explains all of the varied mental and psychic phenomenon that occurs, such as a large portion of the public attention, and which, without such explanation, are non-understandable and defy scientific treatment. An understanding of this great hermetic principle of mentalism enables the individual to readily grasp the laws of the mental universe and to apply the same to his or her well being and advancement. The Hermetic student is enabled to apply intelligently the great mental laws instead of using them in a haphazard manner. With the master key in his possession, the student may unlock the many doors of the mental and psychic temple of knowledge and enter the same freely and intelligently. This principle explains the true nature of energy, power, and matter, and why and how all these are subordinated to the mastery of mind. One of the old Hermetic masters wrote long ages ago, "He who grasps the truth of the mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path to mastery." And these words are as true today as at the time they were first written. Without this master key, mastery is impossible, and the student knocks in vain at many doors of the temple. All right. So, good thing to know. Would you not agree? Sure, everybody would. And actually, I am, yeah. So, as he comes back here, da-da-da-da, I'm back. So it's all mental. Our existence. Um, Back in the day when I sold high-end animation, um, I love creators of animation. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but there was a wonderful 3D cartoon put out called Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. And the creation of the artist were fantastic. I think they were using a symbolics and probably using Harry. But if you've ever watched it, it was well written because remember, kids don't write those cartoons, adults do. And the interesting thing that I have found out about cartoons is there is a lot of occultism snuck in there. Well, I don't know if even it's snuck in is the right word. It's, kind of on full display. But anyway, I digress. Um, we perceive things all through here. So it's all mentalism. So getting back to the theme, could you use money? Could you use a turn of good fortune? Have things been difficult? Have things been tight? Have you found that there is a lack instead of abundance? Do you find that at the end of the month, the old checking account, bank account, whatever you use, has far few shekels than it used to? Do you kind of figure out, well, why do some have and some don't? And don't become all pious and righteous and saying that, wealthy people are somehow bad. No, no. It's it should be the natural way of things. And of course, prosperity is a wide term. It is well known that if you have your health, you are in fact the most wealthiest person on this planet. Because you can have all the money there is, and if your ass is dying, chances are your ass is dying. And guess what? You'll be leaving it to some other idiot coming behind you who's going to spend it. And they're going to get all the thrills and all the chills while your cold ass body is dead and buried in some ground. And you'll be watching it. It's like, son of a bitch, why didn't I, But my whole point to that is um, it doesn't need to be that way. I learned in my religion that prosperity was um, it was part of the covenant, part of the agreement. And if I wasn't getting it, then something was wrong. And most likely was wrong on my part. A lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, and so it makes you go deeper. But when you begin to find out these principles, they're universal. Now, if these principles are universal, then that implies that there was either a law or a principle that existed before we did that was activated most likely in the ethereal realm, which then kind of makes sense because even Jesus said there is those who will be rich in heaven and those who will be poor in heaven. Now, I don't know what that means. I mean, what is your mansion going to be? What what do they call them, McMansions? Or are you going to get yourself a palatial estate? I don't know. You figure that one out. And that was really important. I knew that praying to these unseen entities, these deities, works. They will make you rich. Now, some you have to be really careful about, and we're going to get into that as well. But with the God of the Bible, the primary one was in Deuteronomy 28, and then in the book of Malachi 3, 10, 11, you know. And then Paul, he used it quite a bit because, I guess that was part of his wealth plan. It was multi-level marketing before it became multi-level marketing, if you know what I mean. And Paul said, well, no, in fact, the Jesus dude said, give, and it shall be given back unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. Well, the word bosom there actually means back in the day, male and females, but men wore robes. So a lot of times these robes were layered. because in those hot climates, if you perspire, that acts as a natural air conditioner. I digress. So when you look at that, what it is that it's the amount that your robe could hold, whether that be seed, whatever it is. And it says, men will give into your bosom. So, which means that you have a special anointing or favor on you, which will attract money. A lot of people don't know this about Jesus, but the son of a bitch was real and real rich. What I meant by that. If you go by the alternative narrative, I mean, Joseph of Aramias was a rich dude. He actually is in the Roman record. And he controlled for the nation of Israel and subsequently for Rome itself all of their mining interest. So that's being really rich. I digress. Another point was that, God always loves a cheerful giver. And that actually works over to these goddesses and gods that we're going to be talking about. It's not that they really need money. One would think if they can find or know where treasure is buried, I mean, they've been here, they know everything about us. And they know everything we've done, everything that, I guess that we are doing. But nevertheless, I found out within those principles that giving was one of the you sow a seed, and it works. Um, as I said, all gods and goddesses can and do bring wealth, prosperity, money, luck. They can actually influence the negative energies. Most gamblers, those who are good at it, and there are those who have a gift, or so it seems, of having the luck come in at just the most crucial moment. Well, I can assure you there are unseen spirits at work there. It's just a fact. Um, so asking a spirit, whether that spirit is a king, a prince, a princess, uh, really doesn't matter. They do have the ability to bring, let's say we say, favorable conditions. I mean, there is a certain type of wealth that I learned. For instance, you don't always need money to get things. You'd be surprised when you engage those aspects how it'll come to you. And I mean, folks, put anything you want behind that. It's amazing. So, again, are you needing some good fortune? Maybe that luck. I mean, I don't know. Um, what I do know is this, is that when you find out principles, it's always better to do it on your own. Again, there's nothing wrong in asking for help, but I have found that you do it on your own and you may fail more times than you succeed. But when you succeed, all those times of failure were well worth the price of admission. So, having said that, we're going to bring back the goddesses and the Daemons, gods of prosperity, wealth, good fortune, luck, unexpected rainfall, windfall, where things just seem to land in your lap. As a kid, I've told you this. The brief time I was with my mother, the thing she was poor. Her husband drank all the money away, but there was something on me that I had this knack of finding money. Every time we went to the laundromat, money seemed to find me. And I hit the real jackpot when I actually found $100. I mean, and $100 in the early 60s was, you know, a lot more than $100 today. So, having said that, um, we should begin to learn about these goddesses, these gods. And let's bring some wealth. Let's bring good fortune. Good fortune can be, oh, so many things. It's just remarkable. I was talking to someone earlier today, and they were telling me their car needed repair, and the bill, the estimated bill was something like, $1,800. You know, that'll take a little wind out of your sail, wouldn't it? So, Peter, how you doing? Chris? So let's get into it. So I was talking about, um, let me bring this. So, and allow me as I do this, I have Fortuna over here on my desk. My desk is kind of large and for me to try to reach it, but she's looking at me right now. And so I found out about Fortuna, whew, a long ways back. And I have to tell you, whether it is nothing more than a mental abstract of self or identity of other beings, she does bring good luck and fortune. Here's a prayer to Fortuna. She's a Roman goddess of luck and fortune. She spins the wheel of fortune and wears a blindfold, just like Lady Justice, except Fortuna doesn't hold a balance. Approach strong fortune with propitious mind in rich abundance. To my prayer inclined. Placid and gentle Hecate, mightily named imperial Artemis, born of Pluto fame. Mankind's unconquered endless praise is yours, spectacularly widely, wandering power divine. In you our various mortal life is found, and some from you copious wealth abounds. While others mourn your hand adverse to bless, in all the bitterness of deep distress. Be present, goddess, to we who worship you, and give abundance with benevolent mind. Goddess of fate, I call upon thee. Enter my circle and come to me. You know every secret, and I'm eager to learn. Clear my path and let your wheel turn. Bless my life with good luck and fortune. Fill me with spiritual and material wealth. Pluck the vibrating strings of destiny and fate. Approach strong Fortuna with propitious mind and rich abundance to my prayer inclined. Yeah, kind of. So she is, she's, I want to be respectable to her. And by the way, you are welcome here, Fortuna. Um, this gal is, well, in one aspect, it would be ancient, but another, her youth and her prosperity, her overflow is ever there. So I have some more on her because, again, if you're having and she, by the way, the reason why I'm starting out with the ladies is that because we're going to get a little bit more into Osmodeus. Ladies seem to be, they don't seem to have, personality. No, not, let me rephrase it. They have personality, just not, well, they're not like the dudes. I'll just say this. So this is Goddess Fortuna, Fortuna's favor, a practical guide to worshiping the goddess of luck and abundance by Jane Brownbridge, Jay Brownbridge. And this is in my Kindle, so I don't have a PDF of this. But I thought it would be interesting because, you get to a point in your esoteric studies, these gods never left. They just changed. They adapted to us, and, you know, I'm convinced that many of what people worship today, it may be that it's just another goddess or god of a different era. And I'd love to see in the comment section. I can't read what's going on in the chat, but thank you for everyone in the chat. A lovely chat. I keep getting comments that, people just love y'all. And people talk about learning. And anyway, so Fortuna is a Roman goddess who embodies the concept of luck, fortune, and fate. She holds a prominent place in ancient Rome mythology and was widely revered for her power to bring both good and bad fortune to individuals and communities. Here's an overview of the goddess Fortuna and her significance. So let's get to know her. Her origins and attributes. Fortuitous origins can be traced back to the earlier Etruscan and Greek deities associated with luck and fate. So we have this bridge once again with Greek mythology. And so, where did the Greeks come from? Well, Alexander the Great. And the thing about Alexander the Great was that he believed in Hellenism. And you've got to give some credit to, he was a pretty smart dude, man. I mean, he conquered the known Western world by the time he was, in his 30s, early 30s. Says he died when he was 33. I don't know. Actually, we do. There's a whole story there, but this is not a study on Alexander. This is about what he actually brought into fruition and into realities. Whether these are egregores, whether they're thought beings, or whether they actually do exist, it's your choice. I choose to believe that they do exist. And I'm hopeful that they realize with favor that I exist as well. She is often depicted as a beautiful goddess, typically blindfolded and holding a cornucopia, horn of plenty, and a ship's rudder, symbolizing abundance and the unpredictability of fate. So, Fortuna, we call upon you. We welcome you here. We honor you. We just give you thanks for the gifts that you bring to humankind. And we just speak favor over you. And it's those, I would not be surprised if myself, you, others have a bout of sudden good fortune. The thing about Fortuna, though, what I've studied, is she really is a giver. And when you return a cordial salutation, I have found most spirits to be really receptive to that. It seems like if you come with a humbled um, attitude of gratitude, that's exactly what you're going to get back, which ain't bad. Fortuna is sometimes portrayed with a wheel, known as the Wheel of Fortune, representing the ever-changing and unpredictable nature of life. And tell me she hasn't morphed into the modern day. This gal's a happening gal. That's all I got to say. Aspects and roles. Fortuna is a complex deity with multiple aspects and roles. She is the goddess of luck and chance, overseeing the ebb and flow of good and bad fortune in people's lives. Fortuna is also associated with fate, as she controls the destiny and outcomes of individuals and nations. Additionally, she governs abundance, prosperity, and the distribution of wealth and resources. I don't care what, listen, I had my specialty was doing turnarounds in startups and building teams. And I got to tell you, you want her on your team. Yeah. Could you imagine someone saying, "No, don't need it. Don't really care for it." Okay. But for me, I'm just saying publicly, I welcome her. I mean, she's got knowledge. Solomon, it is said, the reason why God, the God of the Bible, or of the Hebrews, made Solomon wealthy was, of course, if you know the story about his father David and Bathsheba, the whole thing there. So when he went into the temple, um, he was told that God, because of an act that he had done, would give him anything he wanted. Just name it. And as the writing says, that, he said, well, what I need is wisdom to rule these people by. And so the God of the Bible says, far fucking out, man. I can't believe you're human. And he says, well, let me just tell you this. I'm not only going to make it, I'm going to double it. And by the way, when it's all said and done, ain't no one ever will be as rich as you. And apparently that's the truth. I don't know. But I like Fortuna. I mean, understanding that, pendulums do swing for every season. There is another season yet that will be encountered, right? Significance in Roman society. Since the United States and most of the West is still, its foundations are in Rome, um, Fortuna held immense significance in ancient Rome society, where the belief in luck and fate was deeply ingrained. People sought Fortuna's favor and protection, as her blessings could bring success, wealth, and happiness. Temples and shrines were dedicated to Fortuna throughout the Roman Empire, and various rituals and ceremonies were performed to appease and honor her. Fortuna's influence extended to different aspects of life, including personal endeavors, business ventures, and the outcomes of wars and political events. You ask me, this gal has got some power. And apparently she knows how to use it. Yeah. I mean, you seriously. So I'll just put this in the modern day point of view. So imagine this, Greg, others, and I can actually project myself because I've been down this road. Um, so you have a startup idea, entrepreneurism is it's it builds character, it builds faith, and if you possess those attributes, then you can figure this out with me. So you're going in and you've applied to a venture capital conference, and you're going to have seed investors, angel investors, you know, Series A's, etc. They're out there. They have money and they're investing. So there's very few companies that are unique. There's always competition of some kind. So you're up against this. You made the cut. So now you're going to get your 10 minutes. If I had known Fortuna back in the day, oh yeah. Yeah, because this is the type of energy you want on your side. And so when you go up to the stage and you're looking out there and you're seeing all these people and you got your PowerPoint going on, wouldn't it be nice to know that she is present? And she's not casting a spell of any kind. She, just by her very energy, it brings this type of reward or benefit. I'm speaking to someone, and think about it. I mean, if you're going to make a deal with a god or a goddess, make one that has at least sees you in a more favorable light, right? Then there's nothing wrong honoring the lady. I mean, I do my wife most of my life. I always honored the ladies. Was never afraid to go up and speak to them. Anyway, moral lessons and philosophical implications. Well, all right, I think that's needed. The worship of Fortuna also carry moral and philosophical implications in Roman society. Fortuna's unpredictable nature served as a reminder of the impermanence of material wealth and the need for humility and gratitude. That attitude of gratitude. Philosophers like Seneca and Boethius contemplated the nature of fate and how individuals could find inner stability and contentment despite Fortuna's whims. Well, sure, every one of us is a god or a goddess. And, they don't mind when you come here in this physical form, but, they are, at least it's been my experience, are particularly more favorable towards those who you got your poop all together, you know? I mean, you've got a business plan, you've got a personal plan. You're not just going out there and making, saying, well, I wish I had $1 million or I need $1 million. Wait, you don't know if you need $1 million or not. And you have to understand, you just left it very ambiguous. You got to get into the detail. It's the minutia that really counts. And the idea is for you to grow in your own power. But if you need this help once in a while, it's not bad to have as long as you don't become dependent on it. That's the key. Legacy and modern interpretations. Fortuna's influence persisted beyond the Roman Empire, and her concepts were incorporated into medieval and Renaissance art and literature. In modern times, Fortuna's symbolism is still reflected in various contexts, including popular culture, such as games and entertainment. Her representation as the Wheel of Fortune continues to inspire philosophical discussions on luck, fate, and the nature of human existence. I mean, luck is real. And isn't it odd if you study luck that it's whimsical. It seems to have no rhyme nor reason, nor actual pattern. It seems to be spontaneous, and where it comes in and manifests itself, it completely changes the fate, unless you believe that the fate and the destiny was to include that good fortune of luck at that specific place in space time. And let's just say luck is that randomness factor. So is luck then somehow able to be harnessed? Can it be flowed? Can it have a greater flow? It doesn't seem to always be permanent, but yet it seems that there are those who can flow in it much more readily than others. And then, so why do we as a species need luck? You got to break those components down. And when you do, you begin to find a much more compelling story, which leads us back to this whole thing that if there are, in fact, unseen entities, spirits, that seem to somehow be able to alter the energy of space time and completely change the flow of destiny. I mean, think about it. Have you ever won a prize? You ever been a part of a raffle and won the top prize? Raise your hand. Has it happened more than once? Raise your hand. Yeah. Do you find that when you go in that favor factor is, I mean, and let me tell you, good luck doesn't necessarily mean money. I mean, let's take it to the extreme. The story, of the plane and the jet and the helicopter, the story of the guy that got left in Kansas because his comfort dog was too big. So I would find that a great intervention. You could say luck, but it definitely changed the fate. I mean, there he was about to board a ship of doomed souls. Deep. Fortuna's role as the goddess of luck and fortune made her an influential and widely worshipped deity in ancient Rome. Her significance extends beyond her mythological origins, as her symbolism continues to resonate with contemporary discussions on the capriciousness of fate and human pursuit of fortune. I mean, I have been there. I mean, when, you know, the type of ventures I was involved in required millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. But so why is it? And we're in a debt-driven reality where our monetary system is, and so when you are born into a debt system, the goal is to get out of the place where the debt system rules the background. Entrepreneurship, yeah. How to create an altar and worship Fortuna respectively. Well, I've said this, we all worship the internet. I mean, whatever has your focus and concentration and attention is what you worship. Creating an altar dedicated to Fortuna and choosing appropriate items for worship, such as offering, crystals, and herbs, can enhance your connection and devotion. And you have to be open to her, be receptive to her. It's mentalism. And that tells the switchboard operator, hey, Fortuna, there's an open line here. You can connect. Um, Here are some suggestions to help you create an altar for Fortuna and select suitable items for worship. Find a dedicated space for your altar, such as table or shelf. Ensure it is clean and clutter-free. Consider using a golden or green cloth as the base of your altar, symbolizing wealth and abundance. Place a statue or image of Fortuna as the central focus of the altar. If a statue is unavailable, you can print out an image or draw a representation of her. Add symbols associated with Fortuna, such as a ship's rudder, a wheel, or cornucopia, to the altar itself. By the way, all of these items are available on eBay, Amazon, etc. Incorporate candles representing illumination and the divine presence. Yellow or gold candles are often associated with Fortuna. You can also include natural elements like plants, flowers, or feathers to bring a sense of vitality and connection to nature. Offerings. Offerings are a way to show respect, gratitude, and devotion to Fortuna. Traditional offerings for Fortuna can include fresh fruits, especially those associated with abundance, such as grapes, oranges, and pomegranates. Coins or small monetary donations can symbolize wealth and prosperity. If you happen to have silver or gold, it works very well. Burn incense, such as frankincense or cinnamon, to create a sacred ambience and honor to her. Offer a small dish of honey, which symbolizes sweetness and blessings. You can also leave a glass of water on the altar to symbolize purification and rejuvenation. Crystals and gemstones. Crystals and gemstones can be used to amplify energy and focus intention during worship. Citrine is associated with wealth, abundance, and manifestation. It can help align your energy with Fortuna's blessings. Green, Avertine, is often used for luck and prosperity and can be placed at the altar or carried during rituals. Pyrite, also known as fool's gold, is a stone of abundance and good fortune. Clear quartz can enhance spiritual connection and clarity during meditation or prayer. Herbs and botanicals. Herbs and botanicals can be incorporated in various ways, such as burning as incense or using them in rituals. Rosemary is believed to bring luck and protection. You can burn dried rosemary or place sprigs on the altar. Cinnamon is associated with wealth and success. You can sprinkle cinnamon powder on offerings or use it in incense blends. Bay leaves are considered symbols of good fortune. Write your intentions or wishes on a bay leaf and burn it as an offering. Folks, you're getting a complete lesson here today. Remember, these are suggestions, and you can adapt them based on personal preferences and availability. It's essential to approach your altar and items of worship with sincerity and reverence, creating an atmosphere that resonates with your connection to Fortuna. Regularly maintain and cleanse your altar and engage in rituals, prayers, or meditations to deepen your devotion and strengthen your relationship with the goddess. Prayers for blessings and guidance. Goddess Fortuna, shining beacon of luck and fortune, I come before you with reverence and devotion. Guide my steps on the path of life. Shower me with blessings, both in times of triumph and in strife. Illuminate my way, dear Fortuna, with your divine wisdom, grace, and Luna. May your hand of favor be upon me, and may I find prosperity and abundance in all I see. I offer my gratitude and love to you, Fortuna, goddess of fortune, forever true. The prayer for prosperity and abundance. O Fortuna, gracious goddess of wealth, I seek your blessings, I seek your health. Grant me prosperity in all that I do. Shower me with abundance, pure and true. May the fruits of my labor multiply, and may financial blessings never run dry. With gratitude, I honor your divine grace. Fortuna, hear my prayer in this sacred space. The prayer for guidance and decision making. Fortuna, goddess of fate and chance, I stand before you seeking guidance in your sacred dance. As I face choices uncertain and wide, illuminate my path, be my trusted guide. Grant me the wisdom to discern right from wrong. Help me make decisions that are true and strong. Fortuna, I trust your loving embrace. Lead me towards fortune in this endless chase, sacred space. So there you go. I'll stop that. Boy, how fortuitous on the time. Okay. Allow me. Now, we're going to continue this tomorrow because we're going to talk about Aphrodite. We're going to get into another book with Fortuna as I look at this, and then we'll wrap this up with Asmodeus. Yeah, because Asmodeus, I mean, is I read the book, and I have no doubt that this entity, this deity, can do what has been, and it goes back thousands and thousands of years, can do. But yeah, you know, it's like going into a deal, and you know the guy on the other side, and you're going, Boy, I better make sure I've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. So there you go. Um, Firefly says, Fortuna on ride to be my guide. There you go. It rhymes. So anyway, a little bit more knowledge. And again, if you're in a position of need or lack, what do you have to lose? Yeah, there is a process. There is a law. It's a principle. And I say dig into it. That's why we have these discussions. Uh, well, Jackie J, you're welcome, dear. She says, Wayne, thank you. This was a wonderful lesson. Yeah, I look forward to continue tomorrow. It is. And again, I have been there, folks. Wow. When you're doing a startup, you have a burn rate. And because most businesses, when you're starting from ground zero and customer acquisition um and you're the one responsible for payroll and everything else, yeah, those are the types of situations where you learn real quick. I'm grateful for them. I mean, they can be extremely stressful, extremely. But I also found out that it doesn't help to have that spiritual side of the equation, that those unseen forces and energy calling upon them and giving them respect, giving them the honor that they are due. Because when you pass over to the other side, you're not going to be wanting to be disrespected. I did a video, and many of you bring it up all the time. I did the podcast. Do the spirits trust you? Are you trustworthy? I mean, that's the first thing. Are you there to deceive them? Are you there to what's your purpose? And there's nothing wrong in being honest. I mean, abundance and prosperity means that you never are ever in a position where you don't have enough. And that if that need comes up somehow, some way, it gets met, whatever it is. I mean, if you're sick and, this flu bug that's going around, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, it was kicking everybody's ass. I got it early and it kicked my ass. But, there's nothing wrong to seek out healing because you feel like crap, you know, and whatever works. Seriously, whether it be herbal tea or whether it be eating this or doing that, hey, and you don't want to die, become conscious aware on the other side and realize, you know, I had all this availability. I could have called those things that be not as though they are. I could have called upon those spirits that, whether we invented them or not, doesn't matter. They're real. And when you get these deities, they're older than you and I. Well, at least in this round. I mean, that's significant. And as opposed to the Jesus story, which there's no evidence outside the Bible, we have a cornucopia of evidence of her, this goddess, being here. Now, whether she physically manifested or not doesn't matter. I've never seen God manifest to any human on this planet. But a lot of people pray to it, doesn't it? All right. Gilbert, how you doing, brother? Thank you, sir. And may the gods and goddesses be with you, my good friend, for sure. So yeah. Lilith, how you doing? 10 toes when you put your foot down, 10 toes up when you. Exactly. Yeah. Unless you die face down, right? Oh, sweetie, that was cool. I enjoyed that. And folks, this is a type of group that can really engage these egregores. We have ours named Gift. Um, yeah, I mean, and we're not alone. You don't have to, become a dedicated, disciple, but it's good to know. When you pass over on the other side, she may invite you to have tea. You know, wouldn't that be cool? Always good to have friends or someone you're associated or knew on the other side that you connected to here on this side. Just saying, you know, kill your egregores. May the wheel spin in your favor. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Kim says, be very careful right now with the air. I don't, I'll have to read that. Thank you, Retro Rome, Roman Doomsday and Simulation Channel. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you. Uh, Honored. You see, just get you humbled, and then you start turning red on the cheeks. And yeah, I know, I know. All right, folks. So we'll pick this up. Part two will be tomorrow, and part three. And again, this is part of the Grimwall series. Um, but again, I believe she has heard us. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't know. I think not. If the first principle is mentalism, then I know she did. Because all of you were thinking of her, and however many ends up watching this, yeah, I think she'll find that as a great honor, great tribute. So, you see, we got that going for us. That ain't bad. All right, folks, have yourself a fabulous day. That's all I got to say. Tune in to Nina's show tonight, and we'll get right back into it tomorrow. Good stuff here. Let me know what you think. Good or bad. That's cool. All opinions are welcome. All points of view. It's how it works. Yeah. I mean, not all of us see the same thing that Bob Ross saw. Think about that one for a while. Hey, Gaia, right back at you. Rick, thank you. Y'all are the best. Bonnie, much love to you, darling. Have yourself a good day too. And thank everybody in the chat. Y'all make this what this channel is. So I am honored and appreciative, as y'all well know. So, Regina, right back at you, sweetie. Vampy Goddess, gonna miss you. Uh, well, I don't. Again, I'm just reading the chat, so a lot of times I'm not quite in on the full chain. All right, folks. Until we see each other tomorrow, smile. Make sure you laugh. That is the best thing you can do for you. It'll trust me. You'll have benefit. Talk about bringing some good luck. Learn to laugh a little bit. It brings it. All right.